So guys, welcome to this live Tech Talk session with me. Uh, those of you who already know me, like some of you I have already taught. People who do not know me, my name is Vikash Ranjan. I've been in the industry for over 6 years now, and currently I work at Zomato as an SD3. Apart from this, I've also been very active in the tech industry, and I have taught a lot of students. I have mentored a lot of students. And if somebody wants to reach out to me over LinkedIn or Instagram, you can uh, you can just reach out to me on these social handles. Okay. Uh, so coming to this session, what is the agenda of today's session? I think we have already had such a similar session, I think 2 or 3 weeks back. So the agenda of such sessions are that we will be calling a guest in every session, a guest who works in one of the top product-based companies. So in the last session, we had Kunal Singh join the session, who works at Uber. He had previously worked with Flipkart. So we'll be welcoming a guest every session, and we'll be asking them certain questions, and then the guests will be sharing their journey with us. Their journey, as in how did they prepare themselves to get into this company, like what they did in college, and how did they which companies have they worked for, what topics did they study, and on the tech stack side, like which stack do they work on. So it will be more like a get to know session for our students, where they can interact with industry leaders who are already working into product based companies. We'll also have a Q&A section at the end where students can ask their questions, and whatever doubts they have, it can be related to anything. It can be related to the specific company the guest is working for. It can be related to the preparations, the topics that you should focus on. So whatever is your question, we will also take that. So yeah, so this is the today's agenda. Now let me welcome the guest for today. So guys, the guest for today is Monu Singhi. Monu, if you are there on the call, can you please turn on your video?
Hey, hi guys.
Hi Monu, welcome to the session, and thanks a lot for taking out time on a weekend and agreeing to come on the session. So guys, Monu is an SD3 at Walmart, and he has worked with Expedia and Sapient previously. He also has more than 6 years of experience. If you want to reach out to Monu personally, this is his LinkedIn account. So Monu, let's start. First of all, everybody would here want to know about you. So let's start with a quick introduction about you.
Sure. First of all, thanks Vikas for having me for having me on your show. And I'll say hi to everybody. And yeah, quick intro. As already Vikas explained, my name is Monu Singhi, and I have a little more than 6 years of experience, industry experience. And I've been working in Walmart for last 1 year, just little over 1 year now. And yeah, previously I was part of Expedia group, and then I have worked in a few more companies like Sapient and then Wipro. So the journey of this IT industry has been, I would say, a roller coaster ride for me, because I was part of the service industry first, and then I decided to move to the product industry, and then I was I was a bit stuck, because from service industry and to product industry, yeah, it was a big change.
Great, great. We'll talk more about that. So as you mentioned, so this is a similar question actually. So after college, which was the first company that you worked for?
Yeah, so I got campus hired by Sapient.
Okay,
So
okay.
I was part of the Sapient group for two little more than 2 years.
Sapient
And
Publicis, is it? Sapient Publicis, is it the same thing?
yes, Publicis Sapient. So
Okay.
that time it was Sapient. Sapient had three different groups: Sapient Nitro, Sapient Global Markets, and Sapient Government Services. So I was part of Sapient Nitro. Then during my journey only, they all merged to Publicis.Sapient.
Okay,
So
okay.
yeah, it's the same.
Great. Okay. And
And then
after Sapient, yeah.
yeah, so I would say in Sapient, I was very lucky, I would say, to be part of the Sapient group as a fresher, because they teach freshers a lot. They take freshers very seriously. They teach them, and then yeah. So I was lucky to be part of Sapient Group, and then I moved to Wipro, and I was part of Wipro also for two years or so. And then I was constantly, under the I was constantly inspired by the people working at different product companies, solving real life problems. And then I would say when we were in college, that was the time when the startup thing, boomed up.
Right,
Everybody was talking about new age startups. We saw Ola, Uber, Zomato, Swiggy, and whatnot coming up.
right,
So
right.
I was also very inspired by that. So I was also, constantly trying to get into a product industry. And then yeah, so my journey was towards the product industry always. And then finally I was able to crack Expedia. And yeah, I was part of Expedia for one year. And then yeah, due to COVID situation, you can say, or whatever, I switched to yeah, Walmart.
Okay, great, great. So, like you mentioned about Wipro, Sapient, Expedia, and Walmart, all four of these are like Wipro is an Indian company. Rest other all three of them are like foreign-based companies. But all these four are like big MNCs. They have a lot of employees. So, you mentioned about like working for a like you were interested in a startup, but you haven't really worked in a startup so far. So, any particular reason for that? Like,
Yeah, I would say there's no particular reason. I would say I was not getting calls from startup, or maybe I gave interviews in some of the startups, but they didn't find me good enough, I would say. So I didn't get
I'm
any
pretty sure
opportunity.
that is not the reason. Okay.
So yeah, I didn't got an opportunity. Yeah, but given a chance, I would definitely want to work in a startup.
Right.
The way they work, and the culture, and the pace at which they work, and then I would say the problems that they are solving, right? So that is something pretty amazing. So definitely I would like to be part of one.
Okay, great, great. Uh, okay, so you said that you have been in the industry for about 6 years now. So
Yeah.
can you like tell us about how has your experience been and what transformation have you seen in the industry in the last 6 years?
Honestly, from my side, from my perspective, if you ask, I have seen a complete transformation because I came from a service industry and then moved to the product industry.
Okay,
So there is a huge transformation between the way service industry and the product industry works.
okay,
So for me, yes, it was a big. I have seen a whole lot of transformation. Overall, from technology perspective, I would say yes, definitely there is a transformation nowadays. Even in service industry, also I have seen people trying to learn new technologies, adopting new technologies, and going towards whatever is there in the market. Like if I personally come from a back end profile majorly, though I'm also interested in front end, but yeah, by majorly my major work have been in back end for last 6 years. So from
okay,
backend perspective, I would say definitely there has been a huge transformation in terms of using languages. Like earlier, the people were always towards you always get to hear Java, Python, and all that. Nowadays, you hear Kotlin a lot nowadays.
okay,
Then you hear GraphQL nowadays a lot
right,
in the world, right? So earlier
right,
it was only the REST API world. Now you hear GraphQL. There's a different way to interact with the backend
right,
system. So yes, definitely there has been some change. There has been a lot of change, I would say.
right,
And the cloud thing, right? The way the whole hosting thing has changed, right? Everybody
right,
is now moving towards cloud, right?
right,
Even product companies and even the clients of a service industry, they are also interested in moving their services to cloud. So that is one of the major transformation in last 6 years.
right. So tech, I mean, from a like different many new technologies have come up, and then you're saying that the infrastructure, in terms of infrastructure also, like tech infrastructure, we have seen a lot of transformation.
Right.
Okay, okay, great. So a very generic sort of question. So in your opinion, what are some of the important qualities that somebody should have to be successful in the world of technology?
I would say the major thing is never be afraid of learning anything new.
Okay,
Never,
that's
you should
beautiful.
never be, stick to a particular technology, stick to a particular language, stick to a particular tool, anything. You should be always looking out to learn new things, even if it's Java, right? You should never be, stick to Java 8 or Java 7 or Java 6. You should always be able to, learn new things in Java also. So
Right,
one thing that should be part of everyone in the tech industry is that he or she should always be in on top of learning.
right, right, right,
Never be afraid of accepting new opportunities, accepting new technologies.
right.
And we have seen examples of companies who have accepted new technologies, accepted new ways of working. They have succeeded, and the ones who are still in the legacy are actually lagging behind.
All right. Okay. Any other thing, like any other thing that you would like to point out that you have seen in people? Any other quality that you have seen in people?
Another thing is thinking out of the box. Like, I mean, brute force is something that everybody knows.
All
You
right.
have to try to think something out of the box if you want to be successful. One, for example, let's say if some problem is solved in a one way, which everybody knows, even if you find it on Google also, in the first search you will find it, right? But then you have to think, is there any other way? You have to try that out. Even if you fail, you should try any other way that actually comes to your mind. So by that you will learn at least one way to not do that thing, at least if you are not successful.
All right. Makes sense. Makes total sense. Um, okay. So one thing again, you have mentioned a lot about like the differences that you saw in service-based industries and then product-based industries. So can you tell more about that, or like what are some of the good things that you found in a service-based company and the good thing that you found in a product-based company?
So starting with the good things in the service based industry is
Right.
that they are very client specific, they are very client centric, and they take things, very in a smaller bits. Like, they have a very well defined approach towards a problem or towards a requirement. They have a very well defined process how to deal with the client and how to, intake any requirement of the client, and then go about estimation of that, and then following the development, then the deployment, then the testing. So every process is very well defined in the service industry. I'm talking about a big service industry. So
Right.
have everything very well defined, so you don't feel like, going all over the place.
Right.
If you are a developer, you are only concerned about, you will get a well defined story, you will get everything. You just have to focus on the development task. So that is something good about the service based industry. And but on the other hand, that is something which is, in the product industry you get to do everything by yourself. So that gives you a more exposure. So sometimes this becomes a con to the service based industry.
Okay.
So
But
product industry, I would say you get to own everything. A complete ownership lies with you. Even starting with the design thought process, and then to the deployment, and then to the production testing as well. You
right.
get to do everything. You are the sole owner of your feature, and that makes that actually feels good when you do something from that scratch, right? It feels
Right.
like you are actually solving a problem, you are actually delivering to a customer, you are making someone happy by that feature. So that is something which gives you immense confidence, I would say. When you see something, for like for example Zomato, right? If you
Right.
develop something and you see something live on the app, right, and if you see people using that feature and getting benefit from it, right, you feel proud.
Right.
You feel that yes, you have solved something, you have solved someone's problem. So
Right.
that is very good in product industry.
Okay. Um, but another thing, do you think that like in service-based industry there could be one advantage uh, that since it like you do not have a fixed client, your clients can keep on changing like every 3 months, 6 months. So that can also help you. Like if you work for another client, it might be from a different domain. So the domain exposure do you think that is better in a service based industry?
Honestly, at least till SD2, SD3 level, you don't get much of the domain experience in service industry. That's my honest experience so far,
Okay.
because you are very much centric towards the development task. So
Okay.
development task is actually writing code, right? Writing the logic. Even if it's an e-commerce domain, even if it's a hospitality domain, it doesn't matter. The logic's gonna remain same, right? So that doesn't give you a much domain exposure. Domain exposure in service industry lies with the people at the in the up in the ladder, I would say, up in the corporate ladder. They get a huge domain experience. They get to deal with the client directly. They get to understand the client's problem and client's requirement.
Okay.
But
Okay.
clearly, like I said, in product industry, you get to understand the domain also, that why we are doing that,
Okay.
what is the revenue impact, what is the customer impact. So all those things also you get to know. A direct first hand information is there available for when you are part of a product. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Right. Makes total sense. Great. Yeah, I think this question we have already covered. Like any particular reason you are only working at big companies.
I would start applying to some startups now.
No, I think Walmart is great. Anyway, so like being an SD3 at Walmart, like how does your normal day look like? Like what are your roles and responsibilities here?
So I would say I joined virtually Walmart. So my
Okay.
normal day starts with a Zoom call. So yeah, so we have a stand up. So and then generally discuss about. So I would say first let me give my background about my work at the Walmart. So
Right,
I am
right.
part of the fulfillment team. The fulfillment team basically what it does is it basically fulfills each and every order that comes to the Walmart.
Okay.
So you can imagine the scale at which we are operating.
Okay.
So, for example, during the next week, right? That's the most important week of
Black
all the
Friday sale.
companies. I would say it's a Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale, and
Right.
at those days we handle up to 1 lakh order per minute. So that's the scale at which we are operating, and each and every order needs to be fulfilled,
Right.
right? So none of the orders should get stuck. None of the orders should get fraud check and all those things. It should be delivered to the customer, and all that stuff lies with each and every order. So every order is important to us.
Right.
So normally we basically deal with all the stuck orders and all that. Then we decide on any new improvements that we can do, any problems that we want to solve. I would say I have in last 1 year I have worked in many initiatives of our fulfillment team. I would say there I have solved many customer problems, and I have been part of many design discussions also. And the latest one, I can explain that we have been working on the batching of different orders. Like if you are placing three different orders, generally you get three different shipments, right, delivered to you. But now with we are trying to merge those shipments into one, so that
Optimize
everybody.
it basically, like optimize the logistic process, I think.
Exactly. So that will help customer also to get one shipment, and one shipment everything, and then optimizing Walmart cost also. So
Right.
that is something that we are working on. And then we basically continuously strive to do the last mile delivery and the quickest and the shortest possible time. That's the whole supply chain world is working on.
That
Not
is
only
right. Yeah.
Walmart, even Amazon, Flipkart, and all those industries who are working on the supply chain, they are
Right.
striving towards achieving that last mile, the connectivity, delivery, and the shortest possible time delivery.
Right.
So our all our whole focus work towards that only. Yeah.
Okay. So these orders that you said, they are only in the US or are they across other countries also?
So we have US, we have Walmart Canada, we have Mexico. So
Okay.
basically, currently our fulfillment team deals with these.
Okay, great. Yeah, so like coming back to this question, like yeah, so you're talking about your normal day. So like what part of it is like development, what part of it is like helping other team members, PR reviews, uh, maybe product discussions, what like if you could
Right.
elaborate on that.
So development is of course. a daily activity. Then we have now since I'm an SD3, so I am part of the PR review process also. I do PR reviews.
Yeah,
I basically take part in the design discussions also, even helping other team. So let's say I have solved one kind of problem, right? And
correct,
then the other team member also also working on a similar kind of problem, and then I get to know that maybe via PR or anything, I get to know that he or she is also solving similar kind of problem. So
correct,
I volunteer myself to get part into that discussion, and I just either I present my views on the how I have solved that problem, or just try to learn how they are solving the problem, so that we get to know the best way to solve that problem, right? So someone is thinking in a different line, and I have solved that problem in a different line, right? So
correct,
it might be possible that my solution was not optimized, or his or her solution is not optimized. So one of them will get to learn at least.
correct.
So that is how we basically discuss on any design solutions. Then we have certain product discussion also with the product team, like if any new feature is coming up, how is that meant to be, how the order flow will look like, what are the different steps of the order, how will the order journey look like, and all that. So that is some product discussion, and why we are actually doing it, that is something which is very important to basically discuss. And that is something which I have seen in product industry especially happening, that everybody knows that why we are doing this.
Right, right. Somebody's commenting not finding any discussions related to tech interviews. So be assured, we'll come to that. We'll come to that very soon. Okay, don't worry. Let's first understand how things work across different companies, right? That is also very insightful to people with like freshers or people who have lesser number of experience, right? Anyway, uh, yeah. So, Monu, can you tell us about the different tech stack that you have worked on? Like, what technologies are you working on in Walmart? What technology that you worked on at Expedia and Sapient?
Yeah. So I started Sapient. I was a fresher, so I was given training of 6 months around Java, SQL, and all those stuff. And then we were given an additional training. A few of us were given an additional training on uh, AEM. That is basically an Adobe tool,
Adobe
I would.
Experience Manager. Yeah.
Yeah, Adobe Experience Manager. It's a tool from Adobe to do the content management,
Okay.
right? So there you can dynamically create content and go live with that content in no time actually.
Okay.
So that is something Adobe has created a platform, I would say. And on top of that, almost a lot of companies are building their informational website, I would say. All the informational websites of the companies, or the websites which needs to be live in no time, works on top of that. But so my role was basically around customizations of that tool. So any custom requirement that comes, so something that Adobe gives out of the box, that is already available. But if, depending upon the client requirements, we used to customize. But then yeah, the backend was always in Java there. So
Okay.
for 2 years in Sapient and then 2 years in Wipro, I was working on AEM. I also used campaign management tool. Also used analytics tool. So I got to know how the analytics thing work, how Google or other companies are collecting the data, and how they are actually converting that data to an informational, I would say spreadsheet or visualization thing, right? That how
Okay.
much click is happening, how much is the conversion ratio and all that. So that was something I learned in Wipro, using that analytics tool and campaign management. Then obviously I got bored with that single tone, I would say, AEM, working on AEM for last 4 years. And then there was an urge to move towards the product company. And then in Expedia, I was working on Java. But then they were moving towards Kotlin. They were adapting GraphQL, so I learned Kotlin, I learned GraphQL, I worked extensively on that. And then I got an opportunity to learn front end also. So I took that opportunity in no time. I was very keen in learning how front end things work. So majorly because all of my friends are front end developers. So I was fascinated how why and how things work on front end side. So I learned React JS. I would not say I'm an expert in React JS, but yes, I learned basic React JS. I actually developed couple of features on the front end side also, and then I developed couple of features end to end in Expedia.
Great.
So I was moving towards more of a full stack developer role there. Then
Okay.
in Walmart, again, I'm a core backend developer. So my team doesn't have a front end to show to the customers. We only
Okay.
work in backend. So here we are using Kafka. Here we are using Java extensively. We are using Cosmos collection for NoSQL database, and then we are using SQL for SQL database. We have Spring Boot microservices architecture. Microservices architecture is extensively used here. We have completely moved from monolithic architecture to microservices. And
Okay.
then yeah, that's where this Kafka thing comes. We have everything in an async mode, I would say, that one service is just doing its job and sending that message to the other service that I have done my job, now it's your responsibility. And we have around 15 to 16 services interacting with each other, and within seconds everything happens. So that's where the Kafka thing comes. So
Okay.
Kafka is basically, I would say, for those who don't know, Kafka is basically a messaging application. So you are a subscriber, and then some of them are listener. Some of the services are listener to that particular message or a particular topic or a particular node, I would say. Then someone sends a message to that node. Everybody who is subscribing to that gets that okay, this message has come, and then
Okay.
everybody who is subscribing can process that message in their own way, however they want to.
Right. Right. Okay. So to summarize, like the major technologies that you have worked on are like AEM, and on the backend side, it has mostly been Java, along with some parts of Kotlin, some parts of on the DB side, it has been mostly MySQL, and then you are working on Kafka a lot also at Walmart. And on the front end also, you have worked for a few months on React JS, I believe.
Right.
Right. Okay. Uh, cool. So now we'll take questions for what our students are mostly interested in. The first question is like, does Walmart, your company, current company Walmart, does Walmart hire freshers? And if so, like what is the criteria of that? What are the skill set that they usually look for in a fresher?
So Walmart hires interns also. They gave a paid internship to for around 6 months. If I'm not wrong, they
Okay.
give paid internship, and the same team generally hires the same candidate back.
Okay.
So PPO thing is always on the card, I would say,
Okay.
until and unless you are pathetic in the performance. But
Okay.
majorly, all the interns get the PPOs.
Okay.
So the major skill set, I mean, on honestly, if you are a fresher, you don't know much about the technologies that is there around the world, right? So we
Okay.
don't expect much from you. The major thing that every product company and Walmart also expects is the logical thinking and logical ability to solve a problem, to
Right.
understand, then solve the problem.
Right.
And that is something I would say Walmart also look, logical reasoning, problem solving skills, never giving up attitude, trying to learn new things, adapting new technologies. These
Right.
are things that majorly helps a fresher to get hired.
Right. When you're saying problem solving skills, like how do they test? Like they test logical ability and quantitative aptitude kind of test, or data structure, algorithm, and coding kind of a test, or both?
Both I would say, more towards data structures and algorithms. But
Okay.
then yes, logical thinking and quantitative things are also taken.
Okay.
But data structures, algorithms, I would say for fresher, even for SD1 also, they don't go into a very high level design problems and all that.
Okay.
The they stick to basic data structures, not very advanced data structures.
Okay.
So yeah, that's it.
Okay. Great. You may also mention about internships at Walmart. So, like, how do they take internship? Is it a on-campus internship at certain colleges, or do they also have an off-campus internship drive? So that can help our students a lot, actually.
Yeah, so on campus, yes, definitely they go to different campuses, whichever they are all going.
Right.
So I don't have a list of
No,
campuses that visit. Yeah, but
that's okay.
yeah, so they go to the campuses to hire interns. For offline internships also, they ask for applications, and then yeah, the interview process happens for offline applications also. But even if you are not part of that internship process, you can still be part of Walmart as a fresher. They also hire for 0 to 1 year or 0 to 2 years of experience. They also have an offline off campus drive for that as well.
Okay, okay. So how do students get to know about these drives? Like these drives come on the company's website or LinkedIn. How do students can get to know about these things?
LinkedIn, yes. LinkedIn, they update the data. Yes.
Okay, okay, okay. So for everybody, like if you like one thing is there across most of the companies, guys, that most of the companies keep posting such information on their LinkedIn. So if you are targeting one of these top product companies like Walmart, like Microsoft, like Expedia, so follow these companies on LinkedIn, and whatever whenever they have such a requirement, whenever they are having an offline drive for freshers, maybe at that time you can apply for that.
Yeah, and then even if you are not following a particular company, but then if you are connected to few people of those in the companies, they
Right.
also update it, and they also update their LinkedIn status that yes, they can you can send out a resume for a referral. They are open for that. Yes.
Right. Great. Okay. So there's a question like, how do you think our students should prepare to crack the recruitment process of top IT companies like Walmart and Expedia? Which areas should they focus on? Yeah. Think
Yeah. So
more. Yeah. Think for more from a fresher perspective, I would say.
yeah. So as I already explained, from freshers, companies basically don't expect a lot.
Right.
uh, what they are looking for is the ability to understand and ability to solve a problem, even if in a layman terms they are able to solve it, even if they are not able to write a production ready code.
Right.
they the companies are actually fine with that, except a few companies. They Generally the companies look for an algo based coding.
Right.
They don't want to be a language specific thing, right? Because you never know, today Java is all over the place, and tomorrow it may be Kotlin, tomorrow it may be Scala,
Right.
R on R, anything can be there, right? So no one wants a person who is stick to one
Exactly.
language or one tool or anything, right?
Right.
So focus on your logical thinking, focus on coding abilities, writing a pseudo code at least. And
Right.
then if you are asked for something, even if a company is coming to hire for a one language specific, they'll give you that requirement that they are looking for a Java thing. And then for Java, for example, like Walmart has a lot of openings in Java, actually specifically for Java. So they have one round of interview specifically on Java. So
Okay.
what we look for in Java is all the theoretical knowledge of multi-threading, uh, Java 8 specific features and all that. So, but then behind that also, what they are looking for is how you are approaching towards that problem, right? Theory is one part, but then understanding the underlying concept, how is JVM working, how is classes are loading, what is the memory allocation thing, what is garbage collection and all that. These are some concepts that are across languages, right? So they are
Right.
not specific to language specific. However, the implementation or the way each language is doing it in the backend is different. Like
Right.
for C++, garbage collection is something which is worked in a different way. For Java, it is different. For Scala, it will be different. But
Right.
then, what is the concept of Java collection? Why we are doing it? What is the advantage of it? All those things. How the memory is allocated? What are the data types? What are the different data structures that are available? These things are something which are common across all the language. So,
Right.
so for a fresher, this is of the topmost priority, I would say.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. Uh, Coming to like we have already talked about this a lot. Like if we have data structure, algorithm, and logical building on one side, and expertise in any one particular technology on the other side, what according to you is more important?
Um, for most of the product companies, yes, logic building and DS algo is something that they are looking for.
Right.
Very few companies are very extensive about a language,
Right.
about and about some one particular language. That also depends on a requirement, right? If the requirement is specifically for Java, they will look out for Java, right? Otherwise, the same company can hire a good logical person, or a person who is good in data structures algorithm, if the requirement is not that specific. So that
Right.
also depends on opening to opening, but majority of the companies look for logical building and data structures algorithms.
All right, makes sense. When you say data structure algorithm, and you already mentioned that it's like they do not go into much depth. So like, do you mean to say it's mostly around like linear data structures or simpler ones like array, linked list, stack queues, strings,
Mm,
trees,
I
or
would not say it is only specific to linear. Definitely not. They
okay,
will at least go to trees, at least trees.
so
So apart from these linear data structures, you should be focusing on trees and a bit of graph.
graphs, a bit of graphs. Okay,
Tree is something that everybody is looking for, because most of the things are now, I would say, big data is something, or high volume of data is something that we need to handle, right? So
right,
that
right.
is not completely, scalable in linear data structure. So
Totally
at
agree.
least
Right.
at least trees, yeah.
Okay. Great. Now, like apart from technical skills, do you think there are any other skills that a student should have? Like it can be any soft skill, it can be interpersonal skills. Any other skill that you think a student should have, which can help them in their career?
As a fresher, soft skills matters a lot, honestly.
Okay.
If you are good in communication, if you are if you, so knowledge, having a knowledge and then passing that knowledge to someone is also equally important. If you have the knowledge but you are not able to pass it to someone through your language, through your presentation, then also you will not be able to crack interviews, right? Because अगर सामने वाला समझ ही नहीं पाएगा तो फिर उस knowledge का क्या फायदा.
All right.
So,
Right.
so communication skill is very important. The way you articulate your thought process, the way you explain your solution to an interviewer. So
All right.
sometimes it happens in this virtual world, even if you are not, even if you have not copied solution from somewhere, or even if someone is not helping you in the interview, right?
All right.
But if you're not able to explain that solution to the interviewer in a virtual world, definitely he or she he will think that, okay, that someone must have helped him, or he must have copied it from somewhere, from online or from mobile phone and all that, right? Even if I also take interviews, I also think in the similar lines. I would say, at least I also think, if someone is not able to explain me the solution, because
All
you
right.
wrote the whole code, you should be able to explain it, right? And
Exactly.
you're not understanding that code all yourself. So
Exactly.
explaining something is also very important. So work on that. You should be working on that. You should be taking mock interviews of each other, at least among your friend circle. So
Hmm.
that will help a lot.
Great. Great. Understood. Uh, any final thing, any other piece of advice that you would want to communicate to the students? Any other tip that you would want to give to the students who
Yeah.
are, yeah,
One thing I forgot in this whole discussion was that I forgot to mention that I was from electrical background when I was in college,
okay,
and then I'm surviving in the IT industry for last 6 years.
right,
So don't get scared that if you are from non-CS background, you will not be able to work in the IT industry. If you are interested, if you are passionate about technology, if you are passionate about coding, you will definitely find your way. You might take a longer duration than the others, but yeah, you will definitely find your way. So this is something you should not be scared of trying it out if you actually want to, because I was interested in coding. I was interested in computer science and all during college days also. Because of my rank, I would say, during my college days, I didn't get the CS branch. So that's why I ended up in electrical, but then my interest always had been in computers, coding and all that. I was part of robotics club and all that, all those autonomous robots, all that work behind behind everything is there is some lines of code
Yes,
written.
coding, right, right, right. Totally.
So that was I was fascinated for all by all those. So if you are passionate, if you know that you can learn, just try that out. Just give it a try.
That is great, Monu. That is great. Cool. So, guys, please stick around. We will. I have to show a small PPT, a small presentation about what exactly Geekster is. Okay, and the different things that we offer at Geekster, and then we will take up questions from all of you. So it's a small presentation, and let me just talk about Geekster now. So people who do not know, first of all, this entire presentation, this entire show is actually carried out by Geekster. And uh, so what we actually do at Geekster, we have so right now we have only one course. The course is of full stack development. Again, in full stack development, we have distributed our course into a course which is more towards Java and another course which is more towards web architecture and web technologies. Okay, so at Geekster, what we do, we train students, we train our students, okay, and it's usually an online class, live classes, and then we give you live projects to do. We conduct your mock interviews. We help you out with the uh, preparations for interviews. We give you guidance. We also have one-on-one mentors assigned to you, even if there is a if you go to the main course. So basically, at Geekster, the entire course is about 4 to 6 months long, and the best part about Geekster is that it is a completely pay after placement program. So what do we mean by a pay after placement program is you do not have to pay a single rupee upfront. Okay. So you just need to register for the course. We will have a pre-course, which is basically a sort of a trial class. It can be of 3 to 6 days. And if you like the pre-course, then you need to take a test, and then if you do well in the test, then you can register for the main course, which, as I mentioned, it goes from 4 to 6 months long. After this step, we have tied up with more than 45 companies as of today, and we actually refer your profile to a lot of these companies, and these companies then interview you, they hire you, and only when you get placed in one of these companies, and we are giving you a minimum commitment of 5 lakhs per annum. So only when you get a job with 5 lakhs per annum, only then you have to pay us something. Again, that payment is also a percentage of your CTC, which is somewhere around 20%. And then just before signing this, starting the main course, you just have to sign an agreement, which is called an ISA agreement. So you just have to sign the agreement where you just agree that, okay, once you get placed, you'll pay us the fees. So the best part about this entire course is that it is a pay after placement program, and it does not give any financial burden to our students. Okay. Now the educators that we have are not the regular college educators that we used to have. Okay. The educators that we have are themselves people who are industry leaders who are working in one of the top product based companies. Like you can see on the screen right now, we have people from Microsoft, Amazon, Paytm, Google. I am working for Zomato. So people here are working for one of the top companies themselves, and they have the expertise, they have the experience, they have the skills which can help you do better in your career. What is our mission? First of all, we act in the classes. It's not a very theoretical based class. It's actually a very practical based class where we do a lot of live coding in the class itself, and it is an industry standard coding that we prepare yourself, you or all our students into. Then again, as I said, you learn from the industry experts, and then we help you find your true potential. Now we have one of these programs where, like, one of the track is a Java focused track. Okay, so where we have for about 1.5 months we focus on the programming fundamentals. Then we cover data structure fundamentals. Then we train you into different languages like Java frameworks like Spring Boot, and then databases like MySQL or MongoDB. And then there is another section for advanced data structure, which will actually really help you out to crack these top product-based companies interviews. Then the other program that we have is a Stack program. So MERN, if you don't know, MERN is basically Mongo, Express, React, and Node. So it's mostly a full stack developer course where the courses that we have include web fundamentals, which is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, then data structure fundamentals. Then we cover advanced front end, which is basically React, JS, and Redux. Advanced backend, where we teach you Node.js, MongoDB, and Express.js. And then advanced data structure, where we again cover all of the data structure things. So data structure is common across the Java track also and the MERN track also. Okay. And all of these classes, the classes actually happen after office hours. The timings are usually around 8 to 10 p.m. and mostly Monday to Friday. The timings are such that if our instructors also, because they are also working full time at different companies, so after they get free from their work, and our students also, so that they can get free from their college, or if they're also working somewhere, so if they get free from their own work, so then we have classes. Okay, now beyond these classes, we give you mentorship. As I mentioned, we help you improve your soft skills, your communication skills. We help you we take a lot of mock interviews, so we help you with that. Okay, as I mentioned, we have a tie-up with over 45 companies, so we give you a referral to these companies and they hire you. So we help you with the referrals as well. Now, let's talk about what is the process to get enrolled into Geekster. The first process is, as I said, you have to register for the course, and then you have to attend a pre-course, which is usually trial classes from 3 to 6 days. After you're done with the pre-course, then you have to take a test. If you do well in the test, then you have to sign an agreement, as I mentioned. And then you don't have to pay anything upfront, okay? If you, if you clear the test, if you sign the agreement, then you get registered for the main course, okay? And then after, it's a 4 to 6 months course. After the course, we refer you to companies. Then you get, once you get placed with a minimum commitment of whatever we are committing to you, which is 5 lakhs per annum right now for a web development track or a Java track. Only when you get placed, then you have to make the payment to us, okay? Now, guys, one very important thing is that like this initiative, like this webinar, it's not just for Geekster students. We anyway will keep having such sessions for Geekster students, but in general also we want to help a lot of students. So this webinar and such webinars are open for other people also who are not even a part of Geekster. So that is another thing that we are trying to do here. So we're trying to build a community of students, guys, and that is why I request all of you, everybody that who is attending this session, is that please subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we'll keep having these sessions very frequently. We'll keep having a guest who's working in one of the top product-based companies. So please subscribe to the YouTube channel of Geekster, okay? And so that you do not miss any of these important webinars, okay? Now, as far this is a very small list of some of our students who have get placed in some of the good companies. Most of them are product-based companies. Some of them are service-based companies as well. And yeah, these are some of our major referral partners, major hiring partners. Some of these companies, you can see we have Amazon, Paytm, Microsoft, PayU, Flipkart, PayPal, Infosys, Sapient, Capillary, Citrus Tech, and many companies like these, right? And as I said, these are not all the companies. These are just some of the companies that we have collated here in this PPT. And this is basically the average salary that our students have got so far is basically 7.5 LPA, and the highest salary that any student has got, any Geekster student has got, is basically 19.5 LPA. Cool. Now, guys, back to this session. Okay, if you want any further information, okay, then you can just reach out to us. Just type your question, anything you want to know about Geekster. Also, you can type in the comment section. And if any other question you have which you would want Monu to answer or me to answer, then feel free and just start writing in the comment section. Okay, so Monu will start taking up these questions now.
Sure.
And I'm sorry that you had to wait for so long. Yeah, so Let me see. The first question is, was Wipro good enough for freshers?
I didn't join Wipro as a fresher. I was pretty experienced when I joined Wipro. So I
Okay.
cannot comment about freshers thing about Wipro. But yeah, Wipro was a good company to work with, at least for my team. And honestly, a, and a company as big as Wipro, it entirely depends on which team you are in, uh, which manager or which leadership you are under which, because there are tons of verticals in Wipro, honestly. So there are almost every technology is there. So you name a technology and there will be one project at least in Wipro working on that technology. So
Right.
it completely depends on who's your manager, which leadership, which pillar you are in, and all that.
Right. But in general, I think another thing is that in general, like these big service-based companies, they have a good training program. At least I what I have seen is like they have a very extensive training program which runs from 3 to 6 months. They have like
Like,
yeah,
yeah, like I said, Sapient, we got 6 months of extensive training,
right,
and we even built an online bookstore with that training, right? From front
right,
end to back end, everything we built, right? With that 6 months
right,
of.
right,
So training wise, yes, every big service industry invests a lot in their freshers to train them. And then while assigning the project also, I got, so since I was going to be part of a project which was based on AEM in Sapient, right? So
right.
I was part of a special training of a week or so, which was focused on that tool, which was focused on that technology, and that was also from a very good trainer. And so they invest a lot in training. Yes,
Right, right. Okay, somebody is asking front end is best or back end?
it all depends on your interest, honestly.
Right,
So front end, I would say you get to see everything happening in front of you.
right,
Back end is not something that you can see easily happening in front of you. Front end may, if you change one line of code, you will see that difference on the screen itself. You reload the app and you will see that difference. But backend is backend may, it's a bit different. So it
right,
all depends on interest. I have seen people who are very much into the backend side. I am not 100% into the backend. I honestly, I would say I am interested in both the sides. But
mm,
yeah, since I've been part of the backend development projects all through the while, so
right.
it's going well. I'm not saying I hate backend, but sometimes when I see front end people debugging everything on the browser, and then the backend guys are still waiting for the logs to come up, downloading the logs from the server and all that stuff, I feel a bit jealous.
Okay. Great. So yeah, I think Neelkant, the question, the short answer to the question is that it's nothing like that. One is better than the other. It's more about your interest. Usually, developers across front end and back end are usually paid equally only, and both of them, like nowadays, you'll see like people like Node.js is on technology that is built over JavaScript only, and React is also technology that is built over JavaScript only. So it's not much of a rocket science if you know one thing other. If you know coding in one language, I think it would be fairly easy for you to understand a completely new thing also.
Perfect, perfect. And it all depends on your interest, truly.
Great, yeah, totally. Will somebody asking, will this video be available after this live session? Yes, this video will be available after the live session. You can check it out on the Geekster YouTube channel itself. Okay, somebody's asking how to crack Mang companies. Please share some points. So basically, Mang, if somebody does not know, Mang means Microsoft, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, and Google. So how to get in one of these top product-based companies, or how to get into Mang?
It's I mean, all the product based companies nowadays, they have a same kind of hiring process. They majorly
Right,
focus on data structures, algorithms, logical ability. They are
right,
not focused on one language, definitely not. They, so these companies work across languages, I would say. I have seen in Expedia also, I have seen Scala, Ruby on Rails, Kotlin, Java, every language was there, right? Even in my team only, we had one service written in Kotlin, one in Java, and one in Scala. So no language specific thing. Focus on your logical reasoning. Focus on data structures, algorithms. If you want, if you definitely want to go into any of these, yeah.
Right, I totally agree. Also, like most of these companies, I believe have, I think, 3 to 5 rounds or 3 to 6 rounds. Most of these companies, where
Yes.
I guess you would at least have a couple of rounds which will be mostly focused on problem solving and data structures. If you are a fresher, if you have some bit of an experience, then you may also have a system design round,
Yes.
where they might want you to design something, right? And then it's usually a hiring manager round, and then it's usually an HR round also in some of these companies.
Right. Perfect. So one one thing I would like to say is that practice is the only thing that can help you, get
Right,
get that hold on the data structures and algorithms. Once you start practicing, let's say
right,
you pick up array, linked list, anything, right, and then you start practicing, you will in first few questions or first few days you will feel a bit difficult to solve each and every problem. You will find that every problem is a different problem, but after a few days you will see, okay, there are only few ways, 5 to 6 ways to solve link all the questions of linked list, 5 to 6 different ways to solve all the questions of array, and that only comes out of practice. And then after few days, when you will see any new question, you will instantly get that thought, okay, this can be solved using the duplicate method or two pointer method, etc., etc.
right,
So this is the only thing here.
right. Also, Monu, can you tell our students like what platforms do you use for coding practice and for interview preparation? Do you use any platform like that?
Yeah, I generally follow Geeks for Geeks
Okay,
or past experience interview experiences that are uploaded on Geeks for Geeks.
right,
So there I get to know, let's say for my level of experience, how many rounds of interview, what is the level of each round, what are the expectations of each round. That is something very well defined there. So I
right,
follow Geeks. For coding practices, I follow, yeah, again, the Geeks for Geeks has a lot of good questions to solve.
right.
Then we have Hacker Rank, Hacker Earth. So all those, yes, definitely. And for system design, I follow a few YouTube channels where the person explains that system design very, very, very beautifully. There is one app also that's called Geeks Den that is available on
Can you
Android.
spell this app for us?
Yeah, GEEKSDEN.
Okay, Geeks
Geeks
Den.
Den. If I
And
remember correctly, yeah.
similar to Geekster also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there, the system design, specifically for system design, you can follow that app. That's available on Android only, I guess. I don't think that's available on iOS. Last I checked. So for that, yes. For system design, I used to follow that.
Okay. Okay. Great. I was also like as Monu mentioned, like these platforms like HackerRank, HackerEarth, then you have Lead Code and Code Shift. So these if you are targeting a specific company, like if you are targeting say Amazon or Microsoft, LinkedIn, so all of these or any other product companies, like you if you read a lot of experiences, you would see that like most of these companies have a fixed question bank from where they usually ask questions. So like if you keep practicing on all of these forums, on all of these platforms, you may feel that okay, the questions are getting repeated because as I said, they have a fixed question bank, and some
Yes.
companies are infamous of not refreshing their question bank for years. So
Yes.
that can also be a quick hack, although I'm not recommending that. But if you're targeting a company specifically, it is good to be prepared like that also.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I've seen people who have mugged up the question bank and then cracked that interview.
Right, right, right. Good insight into service-based industry from experienced professionals. Thanks a lot. Uh, Sir, please send LinkedIn profile link. I will send that very soon. I am also from EC Learning DSA. That is great, Milind. Thank you, sir, for motivate non-CS background students. That is great. BCA student suggestions, sir. Somebody's asking.
BCA students, again, if you want to get into IT industry, uh,
Right.
it basically product industry. Yes, everything boils down to one thing: logical reasoning and logical ability. If you
Right.
have that, you can crack it definitely. If you
Right.
have thinking, if you have that problem solving skill, that will come from practice. Eventually, you will not learn it in one day. That
Right.
will
Right.
come from practice. So yeah, focus on that.
Right. So, like, as Manu mentioned, like there is no specific difference. Like, if you are in a if you are a BCA student, or if you are BTech only but from a different branch, there is no specific difference as such. Okay, it's the same kind of preparation that you would have to do if you are in either of them.
Yes, yes, right. So the preparation way remains the same, although the companies might, during the freshers hiring, companies might choose, let's say, only CS background students are allowed for a campus placement. I have seen and I have heard that okay, only CS background students are allowed for a particular company to apply, or let's say only BTech B qualification is allowed. So that is something for getting into that industry. But once you are part of that industry, once you are in the industry and you have gained 1 year, 2 year of experience, that doesn't matter anymore now.
Right. Right. Okay, sir, please tell me how to get placed in Microsoft specifically. I think, Benu, we have answered your question. Uh, the next question is how to manage time for coding and branch subjects. I am from a different branch.
Okay. So for me, I would say I got a lot of help from my friends, college friends who were from CS background. So we used to do a group study, and then they used to tell us about their subjects. Like, okay, this is this subject in my semester this time, and this is something like this. So, like computer networks, I have heard computer networks, I have heard automata theory, I have heard compiler design. These are all CS subjects, but I remember them because I had friends from CS background who we used to study together, and then I took part in I took trainings, like networking course happened in my college. Since I was interested in networking, I was interested in CS background, so I took that training also. There also I got a lot of insights about coding. Then I was interested in robotics, so there also we used to learn logical coding, right, to program a robot who can run autonomously. So
Right.
all those things, right, it is your interest. So if you are okay to compromise on the marks of your branch subjects, if you are actually interested in computers, if you are actually interested in coding, you have to compromise at least on the marks of your current subjects, right? You cannot be a topper in both the sides, right?
I mean, it is pretty difficult. It is a little
Yeah,
difficult.
it is definitely difficult. So my focus was used to be that I have to maintain a CGPA that is good enough to get shortlisted into the companies, so
Mhm.
that you should not be ignoring completely, otherwise you will not get shortlisted for the interviews, be it let it appearing, right? So uh, you have to maintain that CGPA so that you can get shortlisted into good companies, because companies, when they come, they have a good shortlisting criteria beforehand only. Like
Right.
in our college, it used to be like for non-CS background, top 10 or top 20 students were allowed only to appear into the exam. Even the online exam that used to happen, that was the selection criteria. So my focus was to maintain a CGPA that is good enough to get shortlisted, and then focus on the my interest, right? Learning coding and all that. And during the summer breaks also, I used to I learned C, I learned C++, a bit of C++ during my summer break also. So that also helped. But just before placement, we had a good summer break, right? 2 months, 3 months summer break, where we had to do an internship as well. So during my internship process also, I learned C. I used to watch YouTube videos and all that. So yeah, that's how you prepare.
Absolutely great. Okay. Sir, after the course, can I also get in Walmart?
Yes, I mean, uh, after the course, before the course, if you are good enough to get into the Walmart, you will definitely get.
Right, right, right. And don't worry, we will definitely at Geekster will definitely prepare you in a way where you can get into top product based companies. Okay. And yeah, it again, like we will definitely refer you in one of these top product based companies, and you have to be prepared yourself, and we'll help you out with the preparations also. Can you please tell me when the 2023 batch starts? So I think he means about Walmart. Can you please tell him when, like, do you have an idea when they usually start hiring people from 2023 pass out batch?
2023 pass out as an internship, you mean? For internship, you mean, right?
I think here it is not mentioned, so let's talk about both the cases, like 2003 pass outs for internship also and for a full time job also.
Internship is something nowadays. The curriculum is that the final 6 months of your college should be a industry experience.
Okay,
So probably just starting, I would say the sixth semester, right? If you are in sixth semester, you should be getting calls for internship and all.
okay. So I think if you're 2023 pass out, I think it is somewhere around. Uh, I believe it is around April 2022, around when you should
It
start
start
preparing. Yeah, start applying for the internships at Walmart, and when note about the full time job.
full time job. I'm honestly not aware of, so I'll not comment on that.
Right, right, right. But I think usually it off-campus drives they start after March or April of the month, right?
Yeah, after the let's say your final year is over,
Okay.
there is somewhere where the off-campus drive starts for all the companies, because the on-campus, when the on-campus is completed, then
Right,
only companies generally start with the off-campus.
right, right. Okay. So please share LinkedIn profile link. We will share the links at the end of the session. I am from electrical engineering branch. Sir, please suggest me how can I build myself in order to get placed.
So as I explained, if you are interested, if you want to go to a core industry, or if you want to go to a IT sector, right? That is what your interest level should define. You should be thinking of that first. So my interest was around the IT industry. So as I think I have already answered that how I prepared myself. You can also maybe take some tips out of it and then start thinking about the preparation.
Right. Okay, somebody is asking what is the agreement criteria and installment of total fees. So, guys, first of all, the installment is basically we take a monthly installment up to I think a couple of years. The agreement criteria, as I said, has basically 2 or 3 points where we commit to you that we won't be charging anything upfront. The second thing we commit to you is that if you get a placement of minimum 5 lakhs, only then you'll have to pay a percentage of your CTC. And again, the total amount and everything else will depend a lot on the salary that you are getting, so I won't like to get into that. But yeah, the fees is not taken at once. Every detail will be there in the ISA that you will be given to. Okay. uh, the other question is, hello sir, good evening. Right now I am pursuing graduation and my graduation will be over in 2023. Am I eligible for the course? I think you are talking about the Geekster course. So for the Geekster course, I think yes, you are eligible. You can reach out to us and start taking the classes. Also, like since you have a lot of time right now, so like you can start taking the course immediately. Also, or if you want, you can start taking the course after 6 months. Also, when you are actually in your final year. Okay, somebody is asking. Suppose I got job from Geekster and after few months due to some reason I resigned. Then company, then what is my fees process? It's pause or continue pay fees. Okay, so these all of these things are a bit of complicated things, guys. Okay, and it may depend from person to person. It may a lot depend on why are you leaving your job exactly. Is it a personal reason? Is it a health reason? Or what exactly is the problem? So it's not a very generic question. So I think let's not discuss this on a public forum. We can discuss it personally. I would request you to get in touch with somebody from the Geekster team. Okay. And we'll definitely keep reach out to you. So after this session, also, we will be sending you a feedback form where you can submit the feedback of the session. Also, we will send you a inquiry form where you can register for the course, and then we'll take ahead from there. Okay. So you would be receiving this link over or WhatsApp itself. Okay. Somebody's asking, in terms of acquiring more knowledge or to get better in our logic building part, or in terms of problem solving, are both front end and back end equally good enough?
So logical building and problem solving skill is not about front end or back end. It's about how you approach any given problem. So
Right.
be it even ignore IT industry completely. Given a problem, how do you approach that problem? What is the first thought that comes into your mind, and how do you solve that problem? Is something, if are you solving that problem in the most optimized way? Any problem, not related to coding, not related to front end or back end. It is about anything. Eh, Take a maths problem, right? If you are solving a maths problem, how much time you are taking? Are you taking the optimized approach to that to solve that problem? Are you taking more steps or less steps to solve that problem? So that is something what defines logical building and logical reasoning and aptitude. So front end and back end it is irrespective of that.
Okay. 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 Somebody's saying, sir, why do Java looks heavy over Python? So much confusing.
I agree. So I cannot comment on Python. I have not used Python extensively, but yeah, Java is something which is very scalable, which is well, even if you are developing something on Python, if that app gets popular, you will eventually move out of Python because the Python is not scalable enough. So, and Java has a lot of community support. I'm sure Python must be having it, but yes, Java has a lot of community support. Java has a lot of libraries, inbuilt libraries. Everything is available. Everything you think of is available as a part of library in Java. So it's easily pluggable and all that. So yeah, yes, it is confusing, but it is interesting.
Right. Also, I think I used for that question, you should also think about the fundamental difference between Java and Python. So Java happens to be an object-oriented programming language where you have the concept of classes, and then you have objects and methods inside it, right? Then Python is a functional-oriented programming language. So first of all, for if you want to create a very small program in Python, you can just write the function itself and start writing the code within it. Then which is not the case in Java. You have to write a class and a main method and everything to start off. So maybe that the syntax of Java in itself is more strict, I would say. Like the syntax is more strict. You have to write longer lines of code. But then, yeah, as Monu said, there are many advantages of it, like the scalability, like the security, and many other advantages of Java also. Like the syntax of Python is one thing that makes it look simpler. You do not have the concept of brackets. You do not have the concept of data types. You just define a variable without defining the data type, and it works. So yeah, that is these things. But again, every language has some advantages and some disadvantages. So like you can agree to it that okay, Java has this disadvantage that it has a slightly complicated syntax, I would say.
Yep, totally
Okay,
agree.
somebody is saying I am 25 and from civil background. I feel so demotivated to start from scratch. Plus, I have less than 60% in my 12th plus gap in BTech course. Plus, I have given 2 years to competitive exam. I am kinda lost. Anything Monu, that you would like to?
First of all, stay motivated. Don't lose confidence. If you are passionate about cracking any competitive exam, like any government exam or anything like that, stay focused. Keep preparing yourself. Yes, it will happen eventually. Sooner or later, it will happen eventually.
Right, right. and if you are thinking of getting into like the tech industry only, then like start studying. I know it is difficult to start from the scratch. It takes a lot of patience also. You might be seeing that your other batchmates have already got a job and they are doing well for themselves. So I would say do not compare yourself with other people, first of all.
Right.
If you are, then just like see the struggle that they have gone through. Everybody have had their own struggles. Everybody has their own journey. So I would rather say that do not compare yourself with others. You have your own struggle. You have your own journey. Just keep studying, keep practicing, keep developing this logic building ability and writing algorithms ability, and eventually you will really do good. I'm not sure if you are a student of Geekster or not. If you are not, I would recommend you that get registered with us. We'll try to help you out in the best way that is possible, for sure.
Right. Definitely a professional course, and that will definitely help if you want to start from scratch. Yes.
All right. Somebody is asking, can you recommend what courses should I learn besides a language and DSA to get an internship?
No, keep practicing on DSA algorithms. There are no courses to take for a product-based industry. Um, uh, yeah, no courses as such recommended. Yeah, just keep practicing on DSA and algorithms. Yeah.
Right. Uh, Maybe you already mentioned about besides a language. I think uh, like learn any of the new technology or any new framework that is there in the market. If you are interested, maybe in the front end side, maybe you can learn something like a React JS or any basically language that is popular in the market right now. That is also going to help you out, I guess.
Yeah, and
Or something. Yeah.
sorry, but yeah, if you are actually tech savvy, you can keep reading about the new technologies that are coming, as you said,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Learn if you are interested in front end, learn some new technologies of front end. If you are interested in back end, at least if you're not learning it completely, at least be aware of what are the things, what are the new things that are coming up in market. Like back last in 2 years or 3 years, we have seen REST API getting slowly replaced by GraphQL, right? So that is something very hot in the market right now. So if
Right.
you are aware of it, that will definitely give an edge between the other candidates. If you are aware of the latest technology, at least basics, that will definitely give you an edge.
Right. Also, if you think that you already have a decent amount of knowledge, if you already have decent skills, then maybe start making projects of your own. Like pick up a very simple project, maybe pick up a simple e-commerce application, pick up a simple social networking application, and start building it from the scratch, the front end, the back end, the database. So that will also actually really help you. It is a live project that you are making. Maybe find a mentor uh, at Geekster itself and implement a project of this kind, and this will really help you to get an internship like this. Okay.
Definitely, yes.
Okay, guys, so we are almost at the end of the program, so we'll just be taking a couple of questions more. uh, Somebody's asking, I also wanted to know about ISA agreement, like Geekster is taking monthly subscription fees or any registration amount. There is no registration amount. There is no monthly subscription fees. That is only once you get the job, only then you have to pay something. And that amount is actually a monthly installment. Okay. Otherwise, initially there is no subscription fee registration amount. There is nothing as such. Sir, can you give us an insight about websites like Anima, Figma, which will convert hand-drawn things into HTML ready code? Are they worth investing time on?
Worth investing time on exactly learning that.
I think they mean learning such technologies, like learning such tools like Anima or Figma.
Yeah, so basically all these are products, right? So these products are also so it's a drag and drop. Now when you draw something, it gets converted into certain lines of code, and then at the back end, it always some lines of code. You can learn how to convert that, right? You don't be focused on a tool. Don't get focused on a tool that, okay, I have to learn Figma completely or I have to learn Anima completely, but focused on how they are doing these things. So if you're actually passionate about that, so yes, focus on how they are doing that. What are the basically logic behind it and all that.
Right, absolutely. Okay, guys. I think that is all the questions. I was not answered at all. I think Mustafa, we have already covered your question, right? About the 2023 batch. You're saying that somebody from Geekster is saying that you're not eligible. So we will cover this session. We'll cover this question. I'll ask somebody from the team of Geekster to reach out to you. Okay, do not worry. I'll ask somebody to reach out to you. We'll sort that out. Okay, do not worry. Okay, guys. I think that was all about today. Let me just share the social media links. Everybody wanted uh, everybody wanted the LinkedIn profile. So let me share Monu's profile first. So yeah, this is my Monu's LinkedIn profile. If you want to reach out to him, you can reach out to him directly over there. Now let me share my profile. So anybody who wants to reach out to me can reach out to me on LinkedIn. This is my profile. And if you want to reach out to me on Instagram or YouTube, the handle is Coding Talkies with Vikash. So you can reach out to me there. Okay. So guys, I think this was an insightful session for everyone. And Monu, thanks a lot for joining again. I think it was really kind of you to take out 1.5 hours of your time on a weekday, on a weekend actually. So thanks a lot for this.
Thanks a lot, Vikas, for having me. It was a nice experience for me as well. I'm actually delightful to share my experience and help people out there. Yeah.
That is great. Monu. Okay, guys. So if you have any other, just keep sharing your feedback in the. As I said, you will be getting a link on your mobile phone. So just share your feedback of the session also, and then if you want to register for at Geekster, then you can do that also using the link. Also, as I said, please subscribe to this channel, the Geekster YouTube channel. We'll keep having these sessions very frequently. So, and hopefully these will be very beneficial for you. Cool, guys. Thanks a lot. Take care. Good night. Enjoy your weekend. Thanks, Monu,
Thank
again.
thank you. Bye bye. Take care.